Austan Goolsbee is a big deal in the world of economics. He's not just any economist, he's a highly respected figure with a wealth of experience and knowledge. He's the president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago, one of the key regional banks in the Federal Reserve System. That means he helps set interest rates and keeps an eye on inflation, playing a crucial role in shaping monetary policy in the United States. He recently made some waves by talking about tariffs, a topic that has significant implications for the economy. He's worried they could make inflation even worse, exacerbating the already challenging economic environment. Goolsbee knows what he's talking about. His insights are backed by years of experience and a deep understanding of economic principles. He served as a top economic advisor to former President Obama, where he dealt with some of the most pressing economic issues of the time. He's seen firsthand how government policies can impact the economy, both positively and negatively. When he speaks, people listen, especially investors who are always on the lookout for insights that could affect their portfolios. Goolsbee's warning about tariffs is a big deal. It's not just a casual observation, it's a serious concern from someone who understands the intricacies of the economy. He's worried that they could derail the progress the Fed has made in fighting inflation, undoing the hard work that has been done to stabilize the economy. This has investors worried too. They know that tariffs can lead to higher costs for businesses and consumers, which can in turn drive up prices. They're watching closely to see what Goolsbee and the Fed will do next. The decisions made by the Federal Reserve can have far-reaching consequences for the economy. The bottom line is that Goolsbee is a respected voice on economic matters. His opinions are not just his own, they reflect a deep understanding of economic trends and policies. His concerns about tariffs are a warning sign that we should all pay attention to. Ignoring these warnings could lead to significant economic challenges down the road. History has shown us that ignoring the advice of seasoned economists can lead to dire consequences. The Great Recession, for example, was partly due to ignoring early warning signs. The Federal Reserve, under Goolsbee's guidance, is working tirelessly to ensure that the economy remains stable and resilient. Tariffs not only affect domestic prices, but also have global implications. They can disrupt international trade, leading to a ripple effect that impacts economies worldwide. Policymakers must weigh the benefits and drawbacks of tariffs carefully. While they can protect certain industries, they can also lead to higher prices and reduced economic growth. For the average consumer, this means paying more for everyday goods and services. Inflation erodes purchasing power, making it harder for people to make ends meet. Goolsbee's warning is a call to action. It's a reminder that we must remain vigilant and proactive in addressing economic challenges. As we move forward, the insights and guidance of experienced economists like Goolsbee will be crucial in navigating the complexities of the global economy. In the end, paying attention to these warnings can help us build a more stable and prosperous future for everyone. Tariffs are basically taxes on goods coming from other countries. Governments use them for different reasons. One reason is to protect domestic industries. If a foreign country can produce something cheaper, a tariff can make it more expensive to sell here. That helps level the playing field for domestic companies. Another reason for tariffs is to generate revenue for the government. It's like a tax that helps fund government programs. Tariffs can also be used as a bargaining chip in trade negotiations. However, tariffs can have unintended consequences. They can lead to higher prices for consumers. They can also hurt domestic industries that rely on imported goods. Tariffs can be a major driver of inflation. They act as a tax on imported goods, which can ripple through the entire economy. When you slap a tax on imports, those higher costs get passed along. Importers, who are the first to feel the pinch, have no choice but to raise their prices to cover the additional expense. Importers raise their prices, and businesses that use those imported goods have to do the same. This means that manufacturers, retailers, and service providers all face increased costs. Eventually, it hits consumers right in the wallet. The higher costs of goods and services are passed down the line until they reach the end consumer, who ultimately bears the brunt of the price increases. Think about it like this. Let's say there's a tariff on steel. Steel is a fundamental material used in a wide range of industries, from automotive to construction. That means the steel used to make cars, appliances, and buildings gets more expensive. Car manufacturers, for instance, will see their production costs rise. Those higher costs get passed along at every step, and before you know it, everything's more expensive. The price tags in stores reflect these increased costs, and consumers end up paying more for everyday items. This is what economists call cost-push inflation. It's a type of inflation that occurs when the costs of production increase, leading to a decrease in the supply of goods and services. It's not just a theory, it's something we've seen happen before. Historical data shows that tariffs have often led to higher prices for consumers. When tariffs go up, prices tend to follow. This correlation is well documented and serves as a cautionary tale for policymakers considering the implementation of new tariffs. Policymakers need to weigh the benefits of protecting domestic industries against the potential for higher consumer prices. The balance is delicate and requires careful consideration. For everyday people and small businesses, the impact of tariffs can be significant. Higher prices can strain household budgets and reduce the purchasing power of consumers. In the end, while tariffs may aim to protect domestic jobs and industries, they can also lead to unintended consequences like inflation, which affects everyone. It's a complex issue with no easy answers, but understanding the inflationary effect of tariffs is crucial for making informed economic decisions. In recent years, we've seen trade tensions heat up, especially with China. The US and China have imposed tariffs on billions of dollars worth of each other's goods. This tit-for-tat escalation has created a lot of uncertainty in the global economy. It's not just China. We've also seen trade disputes with Mexico and Canada, our North American neighbors. These disputes have impacted industries like automotive and agriculture, leading to higher prices and job losses. Trade wars rarely have any winners. They disrupt global supply chains, raise prices for consumers, and hurt businesses that rely on international trade. Section 5. Disruptions to global supply chains. Global supply chains are complex. Think of all the steps involved in getting a product from a factory in one country to a store shelf in another. Tariffs can throw a wrench in these intricate systems. Take the auto industry, for example. Cars today are made with parts sourced from all over the world. Tariffs on steel, aluminum, or auto parts can disrupt production and lead to higher prices for cars. These disruptions can have ripple effects throughout the economy. When one industry is hit, it can impact others that rely on it. It's a reminder of how interconnected the global economy is. Section 6. The perils of protectionism in a globalized world. In a globalized world, protectionist policies like tariffs can backfire. When countries start putting up trade barriers, it can trigger retaliation from others. This can escalate into a trade war, which hurts everyone involved. Today's global economy is built on interconnectedness. Goods, services, and capital flow freely across borders. Tariffs disrupt these flows and can lead to inefficiencies and higher costs. While there may be short-term gains from protecting domestic industries, in the long run, tariffs can stifle innovation and economic growth. Section 7. The Fed's tightrope walk. The Federal Reserve faces a delicate balancing act when it comes to tariffs. These tariffs, essentially taxes on imported goods, can have far-reaching effects on the economy. The Fed's main job is to keep inflation under control while also promoting maximum employment. This dual mandate requires a careful and often precarious balancing act. Tariffs make this job a lot harder. They can disrupt supply chains, increase costs for businesses, and ultimately lead to higher prices for consumers. On the one hand, tariffs can push up prices, leading to inflation. This is because businesses often pass the increased costs of imported goods onto consumers. On the other hand, they can also slow down economic growth, leading to job losses. Higher costs can squeeze profit margins, causing businesses to cut back on investment and hiring. The Fed has to weigh these competing forces when setting interest rates. Raising rates can help control inflation, but it can also stifle economic growth. If the Fed raises interest rates too quickly to combat inflation caused by tariffs, it could trigger a recession. This would lead to higher unemployment and lower consumer spending. But if it keeps rates too low, inflation could spiral out of control. This would erode purchasing power and could lead to a loss of confidence in the economy. It's a tough spot to be in. The Fed must constantly monitor economic indicators and adjust its policies accordingly. This requires not only economic expertise, but also a keen understanding of global trade dynamics and their impact on the domestic economy. The decisions made by the Fed have profound implications for everyone, from Wall Street to Main Street. It's a high-stakes game with no easy answers. As the global economy becomes increasingly interconnected, the Fed's tightrope walk becomes even more challenging. Every move is scrutinized and the stakes are higher than ever. Ultimately, the goal is to create a stable economic environment where businesses can thrive and individuals can prosper. But achieving this balance is no small feat. The Fed's tightrope walk continues, with each step carefully measured to navigate the complexities of the modern economy. Section 8. Navigating the investment landscape. So, what does all this mean for investors? First, it's important to stay informed about trade policies and how they might impact the companies you invest in. Second, keep an eye on inflation. If tariffs lead to higher prices, it could impact corporate profits and stock valuations. Finally, consider diversifying your portfolio. Investing in a mix of assets, including domestic and international stocks, bonds, and commodities, can help mitigate the risks associated with trade uncertainty. Section 9. Staying ahead of the curve. In today's rapidly changing economic environment, staying informed is more important than ever. Trade policies, inflation trends, and global economic developments can all impact your investments. By staying up to date on these issues, understanding the potential risks and opportunities, and making informed investment decisions, you can navigate the challenges and capitalize on the opportunities that lie ahead. Remember, investing involves risk, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Seek professional advice before making